So, what is direct realism? Direct realism is the theory of perception, direct meaning unmediated, and realism meaning mind-independent world. Direct realists believe that the immediate objects of perception are outside of our mind, and therefore are mind-independent. So the main argument for direct realism is that there's an external world, and we perceive that external world directly. So this theory of perception is often described as naive realism due to its simplicity and straightforward approach.
The argument for direct realism is that it is intuitive. Direct realism is most people's belief since immediate objects of perception seem to exist currently, before human minds, and will likely exist after. Therefore, they exist when not being perceived and are mind independent. Another argument is that direct realism is naive. The best explanation for reality, consistent as it is and objects maintaining their properties, is also the simplest and most common view.
The argument for perceptual variation is that because our perception changes, but the object we are seeing stays the same, then we cannot be perceiving the object directly. The direct realist reply to perceptual variation is that under normal conditions, the properties of the table are seen the same for everyone. However, it can't actually be known if this is true, and it's also hard to define what a normal condition actually is. Another criticism of direct realism is illusions. When we perceive something to have a certain property, then it has this property. However, in illusions, the object does not have this property, therefore that property we perceive is mental. As illusions are subjectively indistinguishable from veridical perception, therefore in both illusions and veridical perception, we see sense data. One example of an illusion is the crooked pencil argument. This is where a pencil or straw is placed in a glass filled with water, and the pencil looks crooked. This is an example of an illusion, as it's indistinguishable from reality. The direct realist response to this argument is that the pencil looking crooked is a property of the pencil. As it is a property of the pencil, then we are still perceiving the object directly. The time-lag argument is another objection to direct realism. It takes time for light and sound waves to travel from the object to our senses. Therefore, we can perceive an object that no longer exists. For example, a star that no longer exists can still be perceived by us, as the light waves are still travelling to our eyes, even though the star is gone. The direct realist reply to the time-lag argument is that, although the object no longer exists, we are still perceiving the light waves, therefore we are still perceiving it directly.
Okay, the argument from hallucination. The argument is similar to illusion. In hallucination, we perceive something to have certain properties. As we perceive this, then there is an object that has this property. However, in a hallucination, we do not perceive an object at all. Therefore, the thing we are perceiving is mind-dependent, and not in the physical world. Hallucinations are subjectively indistinguishable from veridical perception. We can't tell the difference between it and reality. Therefore, in all cases, we see sense data. Direct realist reply. Hallucinations and veridical perceptions are completely different. In hallucinations, we do not perceive anything imaginate. Therefore, this argument is no objection to realism.